Hello, my name is Dean Williams. I am the Southwark SME Champion for the Startup in London Libraries program. Welcome to Startup Day with the British Library. Hopefully, you've had a fantastic session this morning. We're going to be making sure that today, during this session, you're going to be given so much golden nuggets to be taken away to develop your crowdfunding campaign if you're thinking about doing one, especially around reward-based crowdfunding. So, what is the Startups in London Libraries program? This is a 3-year European Regional Development Funded program that is aimed at helping new startups, those people who are either in ideation or who have registered the business and they are within 12 months of registration of their business. So this is a great way for anyone who's thinking about starting or growing a business idea, especially in today's current climate where people have the creativity and the license to go out there and do the things that they always wanted to do that could bring value. So the Startups in London Libraries program is broken down into core workshops that we expect every single participant to be part of. Now, there are 10 boroughs who are participating in the SEAL program. Southwark is the one that I love because I'm the SME champion there, but you have the 9 other boroughs that you can see on the screen now. Do not worry if you do not see your London borough on there, because you can easily get in contact with your closest borough once you join our workshop and you have registered to be part of the program. These are your SME champions in a different borough. Like, you're going to be really blessed if you do come to Southwark, because I love working with energized, energetic people like you're going to see with our special guest coming on later. We like to make a difference, and more importantly, we like to leave legacies. So within Southwark, we like to go the extra mile as well. But the other boroughs, nonetheless, are fabulous and phenomenal in their own right. We now have our Facebook group, which we would love all the SEAL participants to be part of. So if you're not, if you are part of the SEAL program and you're not in the Facebook group, please put it in the chat below, and our representative from the British Library will put the Facebook group link into the chat, so therefore you can join it and see all the wonderful activities and resources that we have going on in the SEAL program. Now, this is my contact details. No matter how many times I say it, people still do it. Please do not call this number. I'm not in the building, I'm at home. So you can email me and I'll be more than happy to contact you, set up one-to-ones, or just help you with your business idea and signpost you elsewhere if needs be. Now, today is a special day. We have a phenomenal organization who is part of the SEAL program, who have done some great stuff. Going to talk about their journey in their crowdfunding campaign, which they have done recently. But before we get into how to run a successful crowdfunding campaign, we need to understand, what is a crowdfunding? Now, crowdfunding is, in a nutshell, a great way to do 2 things. Number one, to get awareness of what your brand, your value proposition is all about, and to get proof of concept. So number one is to get proof of concept. Do people really want what you have? Number 2, obviously, to raise money. So crowdfunding is a great way to really test out your idea and to reach the masses and to raise money at the same time. And there are various different types of crowdfunding routes. Equity-based crowdfunding, this is where you can go on different platforms like Crowdcube, which is a crowdfunding platform, and you can look for investors who are willing to give you money for a stake within your business. So equity-based crowdfunding is a great way, and a lot of tech businesses actually do this because it's a great way for you to find extra support, find a mentor, find somebody who can support you on your crowdfunding journey this way. Reward-based crowdfunding, that's my baby. This is where you have a product, you have a service, and you're creating different types of reward stages or reward packages that people are willing to buy into, that you give them something in return. So it could be, for example, if you're making t-shirts, so you can, if someone bought a package where they get 3 t-shirts for £30, they'll donate that, they'll give you that money, and then you'll give them those t-shirts in return. So it's like a kind of bartering system. So this is what we have. Are you willing to support us on our journey through the reward-based crowdfunding? Now, lending based is this is okay, people, this is these types of platforms or this type of crowdfunding is where people will lend you the money for a particular rate. So if they borrowed you, say, £1,000, they may expect 1,100 back after a period of time. This is not something I deal with, but a lot of other organizations do go down this route because they don't like to give equity, they don't have rewards, but they know that their business is going to be able to give a good return on money within a quick amount of time. And then last, donation-based businesses, crowdfunding. You'll see a lot of this happening where people are getting married or they have a particular community event happening and they'll put up this event and ask the people, can you help? So donation-based crowdfunding is a very good way if you are a CIC, a community interest company looking to raise money. This is a very good way for you to get an injection of cash into your business to help you grow and develop. So each of these four different types of crowdfunding is a great way. I work in the reward-based crowdfunding because I think it's very good for startups and the types of businesses that I work with. More importantly, I feel it gives the business an opportunity to go out there and test their business model as well. Now, I am so excited. I have been waiting for this for so long. And the directors of this business coming on board have been working so hard and I had to respect their time. But today is the day we're going to be sitting down with this wonderful young organization who are making waves right now throughout Southwark, throughout London, and they are doing great stuff. And they're going to be sharing with you firsthand their experience of doing a crowdfunding campaign, not just doing it, but doing it exceptionally well. And they're going to be sharing their words of wisdom, their golden nuggets of what they learned from doing this. And hopefully you'll be able to take what they have done, implement it into your campaign, and then move it forward that way. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce to you Bottle Farm. Daniel and Charlie are on here. I'm going to start off with Charlie first to introduce Bottle Farm, who he is, what he's about, and then introduce his other director. So Charlie, over to you.
Hi, Dean. Yeah, thanks for the lovely introduction. Yeah, so I'm Charlie. I'm one of the three co-founders of Bottle Farm, along with Daniel here and Emil, who's somewhere in the audience. So Bottle Farm is a kit that turns any plastic bottle into an indoor farm. Use it to grow herbs, vegetables, and house plants on any window. So we came up with the idea in July of 2019, and then it was a few months of product development, and then about 6 months of preparation for a crowdfunding campaign that we ran in June 2020, which, as Dean said, was really successful. We raised £32,500 from 650 customers. And now we're setting up the manufacturing operation and the first units will ship out in January.
Okay, Daniel, this was over to you. So Daniel, you want to introduce yourself? Charlie just being rude.
Yeah, I'm one of the other co-founders. So we all actually went to school together. So, and we've all just graduated uni. So this is the first thing we've done after uni. So we're pretty fresh to all of it. And we've learned so much doing it. So it's been a great process, and it's been really fun doing it with the program as well, because we've learned loads from that. That's been fed to us and we found really useful.
Fantastic. Okay, so your business is still growing. It's in the early stages. You've had this idea and it's great, but you're coming from a background of working together or actually studying together, then wanting to start a business together. What made you go down the crowdfunding route? Why did you think this was a good avenue for you?
Yeah. So, I mean, you touched on it before you introduced us, but obviously funding, it goes without saying, In our case, we have the manufacturing method that we wanted to use for this product has setup costs, and we all just graduated university, so we certainly don't have the money to fund it ourselves. So we needed funding. And why crowdfunding? Well, like you said, proof of concept / validation, is answering that question that's so important of, is this product or service going to sell?
Yeah.
It's so important that, that is the most important question you've got to answer, because you're going to be committing time and money and a lot of energy to trying to take this project forward, whatever you're doing. And you need to know as soon as possible, is this thing going to sell? And I'd also say it's maybe sounds strange, but it kind of forces you to do those core, most important things that you would need to do in your first year as well, which is just finish creating your product, create some marketing materials and sell it. Like, it just makes you do those core things that you're going to have to do to start growing. And then the other thing I would mention is you're going to learn a huge amount about who your customer is.
Most definitely.
So like, we went into it thinking our ideal customer was a certain person, and then we came out of it knowing that our ideal customer was quite a different person. And we've also got some really useful data that we can use to drive sales in the future. So
it gave you that market validation you needed to go out there to really drive the business forward after as well. So Daniel, same question to you. So when you sat down as a team and you said, yep, we're going to go down the crowdfunding route, was there anything in particular that you learned along the journey that you thought to yourself, wow, this was something which we didn't know, but we're glad that we know now?
Well, I mean, yeah, definitely that thing that Charlie touched on about our audience, because we kind of originally sat down and as like an exercise, we're like, who do we think is the kind of person that will buy this, so that we could like target ads and things before our campaign. And we thought it was like a younger millennial customer, but it actually turned out to be an older customer, more middle-aged customer, because a lot of them wanted to get this kit and sell it to kids. So it was really interesting to get that, because it's kind of opened up to us the possibility of using it as an education tool as well. And like, that's a whole other market, a whole area we can go into and do some good work. So that was really useful. And that just feeds into like the e-commerce, because to go off the Kickstarter campaign and go into e-commerce, which is how we'd like to run a lot of our sales, especially now that loads of stuff is shut and loads of like shops just won't be open for a while. We can now know who to sort of advertise for, who to go to, and that's just like validated it in that area, which is great. The other thing that we'd learned that we were told was that just like the brand is so key. So everything you do and every decision you make and like every little ad or whatever you run should, or like graphic or anything, should feed back into that idea. So you should kind of be clear on that at the start, like have a serious conversation about like, what do you want to do? What should your brand look like? Because it all needs to feed into that. And you might be doing things like getting published in small things that might not lead to sales, but it does add to the brand. And all of that is so key. The other thing I would say is just always ask for advice, because especially for us, we're quite young, which means people are like more than happy to give you advice. Because like a lot of people like who've earned a load of money, it kind of like feeds their ego a bit as well. If you call up their company and you're like, yo, can you tell us a bit about like, how did you do it, man? You're so good at this. And they love sharing information with you if you do that, because then they're like, oh, well, let me just tell you. So like, it works really well. And like the worst thing they can do is say no. So we got so much helpful advice just from like pestering people. Charlie was especially good at calling.
Yeah, Charlie's very good at pestering people.
Yeah, it's true.
No, but thank you for sharing that. And I felt when I first met you guys in Southwark Council's building, had our first one-to-one sessions, and we was talking about the crowdfunding campaign. And originally, how much did you want to go for?
What, as in our target?
Yeah, original target.
So at first, the number we had in our head for the target was £10,000.
Yeah.
The number that we kind of thought, well, this would be the number we thought would be amazing was more like £20,000. But I can talk a bit about why we set our target at what we did now, if that would be good.
That'd be fantastic. Go ahead.
Yeah. So we actually set our target at £5,000, and that's on Kickstarter. It's an all or nothing platform. So whatever you set as your funding target, if you don't reach that, you won't get any money, and it will get refunded straight back to the customers. So we set it at £5,000. That was actually probably too low in hindsight, but I'll talk about that more later. The key point I want to emphasize here is set it as low as you possibly can without risking not being able to fulfill. So if you have setup costs, you have to be able to meet those setup costs, or you won't be able to produce the report that you've just sold people. But you need to go as far down to the bone as you possibly can. You shouldn't be expecting to be able to pay yourself anything on the back of it, because by setting it low, you're going to be able to show early momentum, and momentum is so important with crowdfunding. So in our case, we set the target at £5,000. We hit it in 24 hours. We got the Projects We Love badge from Kickstarter, which is like their seal of approval, and various other things contributed to that huge early momentum we got, which in turn got us a huge amount of organic pledges from the Kickstarter platform. So if they see that your project is doing well on the platform, they will show it to the global audience of backers who are, browse the platform almost as a hobby, and that will get you these organic pledges, which really boosted us hugely.
Okay, and what did you end up with?
Total amount we raised.
Yeah.
So the total we raised was 32,500. I could break that down into where it came from if that.
Oh no, don't go that deep. But you originally had a target of 5,000, ended up with 32,500. When you actually saw that, what was your first thoughts?
Well, I mean, you can imagine we were pretty excited. I think, yeah, in our case, it really, we did really do significantly better than we thought we would, which is amazing, and is not what we were expecting. We, like I said, we would have been over the moon with £20,000, and we ended up on 32,000. So I think it was just excitement and just, yeah, excitement to use that money to do more with the project.
You know what I love as well, and Daniel, I'm going to throw this to you in a second, right? But there's this picture of the iceberg, and everyone sees the success from that person after the hard work goes in, and everybody likes to see and want to be like that person, but they don't realize all the work that had to go in before it to make that success happen. So Daniel, what would you say were the top 3 things you had to do to ensure that you had the best results possible from doing this crowdfunding campaign?
Yeah, I mean, that's so true. Like, the thing is, like, you see the goal at the end and the fact we raised all the money, but the main thing that I would say, like, is even after we've raised that money, the work, as you say, is just constant. So like the 3 things I would say is like, you just got to be focused, like really, really focused on it, and just keep plugging at it, because stuff will go wrong. Like for us, like anything that could have had a delay or could have been held back a bit, like especially because of COVID has, but you've just got to keep going at it and have faith. You've also just got to like just be prepared. So we were like reading up on everything, looking at examples of like for like projects, which is actually really useful. So like if you go and see a successful project that's like yours, just go and study it. And like,
did you go on Kickstarter itself to go and see those type of projects, or was it other platforms as well?
Because mainly on Kickstarter, because we were gearing up to use it, but I'd say whatever platform you're using, definitely get on there and like look at the projects, because we started with Kickstarter in mind. So we were always checking on projects and being like, right, they've done that, they've got this graphic, they've broke down their reward structure in this way. And like, if you just copy it, you can see what works and then just take that and use that, because there's a reason it works. So you just get it to work for you as well. So there's things like a video, like Kickstarter say, if you have a video, you're like 40% more likely to get your funding. And like those videos can be like really homemade, but like as long as it's just like explains it clearly, people love that, and it just like it's an instant win. The third thing, I mean, the third thing is, I guess you just gotta like just be prepared to like just tell everyone you know about it, and just like tell everyone possible, because the more people you tell, like you just need to bore everyone you know with it, because then they're likely to tell someone else about it, and that all just follows on from that. So you just got to get out with people you know, because they'll do a lot for you, just like people around you, like friends and family, and then
love that.
Yeah.
Charlie, do you want to add to that?
The only thing I would say is following on from what you both said about how much work is involved. Like I emphasized, it was a 6 months of prep work till we launched, a huge amount of time and effort. So yeah, it's not like we just started the business and a month later we had 32 grand. It was like, it took like nearly a year if you go right from the start of the idea until we had that money in our bank. So yeah, be prepared to spend a long time preparing before you launch.
Okay, so I'm going to take the opportunity right now to also share some like 5 top tips of when you're doing reward-based crowdfunding, because this is the area which I've learned. And gentlemen, if you want to add anything into this, please share your words of wisdom as well. So for me, number 1 is to have a team, because especially if you're going for anywhere above £5,000, there's a lot of work that needs to be done through social media, connecting people, chasing up, putting everything together. Would you say having a team is like one of the top things that it was like instrumental for you to achieving your target?
Yeah.
I mean, I like the way both of you said that in unison, like, oh my God, yes.
It's like, it almost would have been crazy for any one of us to try and do this on our own in hindsight. Like, it would have been completely impossible. It's like if you spend the time to find someone who's going to do this with you, do this project with you properly, and you've got double the amount of people hours and double the amount of ideas and double the amount of everything, it's huge. So
did each of you have your own responsibilities while you was doing the crowdfund?
Do you want to answer that, Danny?
Yeah. I mean, well, because Charlie had some experience raising private investment in a previous job, like doing it for the people you're working for. So your knowledge of just the general process was really good. So you were sort of running that. And then to be fair, starting off, we were all doing a lot of it just because there was so much to do. But I mean, I guess I was probably doing more of the product design stuff. Emil, the other founder, was doing loads of the content, so doing the marketing. He did the video for us because he's got experience doing that, which turned out really nice. But then Charlie was sort of helping tie it all together and keep running the general show of it whilst we would do those other areas. But I think you need to be prepared to pick up the work in any area.
Love that. Okay. Number 2, create a plan and strategy. I know, Charlie, me and you sat down extensively about this. So we broke it down into like a 90-day sprint, where the first 30 days was just the planning and strategy of what you're going to be doing and executing it to make sure that you have the best result possible. How key was the planning and strategy before you did anything was crucial to your success?
Yeah, I mean, it's another one where you can't really over exaggerate how important it is. I mean, the amount of time, Daniel and Emil will know the amount of time I spent like obsessively Googling and writing things down and watching YouTube videos. I think it was like developing a clear picture in your head of how it's going to play out is key, like almost so that you can visualize how it's all going to go. And that took me ages to feel like I had a comfortable, full kind of mental picture of how it was going to work, where all the pledges were going to come from, and what we were going to be spending our time doing.
And go on.
Yeah, no, that's it.
Yeah, it's important as well, because when you're doing this, things are going to happen which you don't know what you don't know, and you're going to get offers from elsewhere. Someone else, like a newspaper, might come in and say, we really love what you're doing. So you also got to be agile in your approach. So the planning strategy, it just allows you that flexibility to know what to do, but also to be open enough for new opportunities as well. So I love when I was seeing you guys doing what you was doing, and new opportunities was just coming your way, and you was able to factor that into your planning strategy. Daniel, did you want to add anything else before I move on to the next one?
Just quickly, like the fact that we had that plan meant that whenever things came our way, we always had something to refer back to. So if we thought there was something that, because sometimes someone will come at you with like this idea or this proposition, and you'll be there being like, oh, you'll kind of jump over that way. But because you have the plan, it allows you to like check it against, be like, actually, wait, we wanted to be doing this. So it keeps you focused, because otherwise, I mean, we had delays, but if we didn't have that plan, we'd have been like, I don't know if it's got out,
Yeah. Okay. The reward package is so important, and I want to touch upon from both of you actually. So Daniel, I think you said you might have been dealing with this more when you was building your rewards packages. How did you go about doing that?
Well, I mean, to be fair, Charlie was probably did most of it, but a lot of it was, it's all about getting your average pledge up, especially when you're paying per pledge. So say you're paying for an ad, and then so for each person they get to pledge, you're paying £2, for instance.
Okay.
You want to do everything you can. I mean, it's not going to be £2, it's probably going to be more, but you want to do everything you can. So our base product cost 20 quid, but we managed to get our average pledge up to £39. And that was just due to the way that we did our reward structure, which I reckon Charlie's probably best to talk about.
Yeah, well, that's basically it. But just the important thing is you want to build, it's specific to a product like ours, which costs £20 as standard. We had to build reward tiers on top of that basic tier that seemed to offer really good value, or did offer really good value for money, so that encouraged people to go up to a more expensive reward tier, so that we got that higher average pledge.
Yeah, because many people don't know that platforms do take a percentage when people donate. So that's also, as you just quite rightly said, Daniel, that's got to be taken into an account as well. So what you did was absolutely right, where yes, your product does cost, let's say, £20, but adding extra value, which people clearly saw, what allowed you then to mitigate that offset of what the platform was going to charge you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, wonderful. So having the reward packages and multiple reward packages as possible that has value is so important. Number 4, creating, Daniel, you said this earlier, creating a compelling video with music. When I do crowdfunding campaigns, for me, the emotive side, the video is so important. And your video, what you did was amazing. I loved it. So Daniel, talk to me a bit more about the video side of things. How much time and effort did you put into it?
Well, I mean, to be fair, I've got to give credit to Emil, because he's the guy that ran the video, and he has a background in film and photography, that's the thing about having the team. We managed to get the skills from all the different people. So it took a while of scripting it. Like Charlie and Emil were running through a script, checking it out. So you do that before, you don't just go into filming it. We had like the key things we wanted to touch upon, and then you develop a script around that. And then I guess on top of that, you want to just, find a location that's good. You just got to draw people's attention with it as well. So, I mean, and it's just got to explain your product. So I think it was quite a lot of pre-planning time. And then I think the shoot, was it a week, would you say, Charlie?
Yeah, the shooting wasn't the longest thing, I'd say. It was, scripting it out, and like Daniel just said, explain the product clearly and don't overcomplicate that side of things, but also have like Dean, you just said, an emotional kind of story to it that can largely just be done with the music, but explain the product clearly and then have some kind of emotive story to it.
Because people want to see the people behind the product. So rather than just seeing a page, if they can see someone like passionately talking about what they've done, they realize they're buying into someone's idea and someone's company rather than just a sales process. So that giving a face to the company. So we had Charlie talking about it, just does a huge amount for it.
Despite my terrible acting skills.
But Charlie, I think you said you hit the nail right on the head though. Having a compelling story is so important that articulates your value proposition that you're putting together. It's that the video does so much for the campaign. It's amazing. And Daniel, you threw out the statistic earlier. Your campaign is 40% more likely to do better just by having a decent video with a compelling story involved. So this is one of the things that one of the guys who created the Angel Investors platform, this is what he told me from the very beginning. Goes, one of the first things you do is create a great video. Hence why something I speak about all the time, because if people who donate millions is telling me this thing and it's worked very well for everyone I've done a crowdfunding campaign for, I can't say it enough. So having that script, how many times did you go over that video? Because knowing Charlie, it must have been like 100 times.
Yeah, it was. It was about 100 times.
We went back and we thought we'd finished it, and we went back and reshot bits of it and stuff like the work. And then we showed it to like people closer to us, like showed it to family and stuff, because there's stuff we obviously understand because we know it like inside out the project. But like if you just show it to someone that doesn't know it, they can then be like, wait, if they're confused about one bit, then you just clear that bit up so that it works for everyone. Yeah.
And that's a valid point, Daniel. Get feedback before you go live. So have a group of people who can provide you with good feedback before you go live so you can make those necessary changes and amendments to your video. All right. Last one, choosing the right platform. Now, me and Charlie went back and forth on this one.
No argument.
But it was great because at the end of the day, you had to make the right choice for yourself. I was talking about crowdfunding and everything that it was doing with alongside the government and everything else. Charlie was like, but I love Kickstarter though, Dean. I'm like, all right. I was like, okay, no worries. Do your research, find out what's best for you, and then go with your gut feeling. And in the end, you went with Kickstarter. But how important was it for you to do the research to find the right platform for yourself?
Yeah, I mean,
yeah, go for it, Charlie.
Oh yeah, so I mean, yeah, it is obviously massively important. So in our case, so Crowdfunder, like you say, you were keen for us to look at Crowdfunder. Crowdfunder is very UK based. It's the #1 platform in the UK. But from looking on there myself, I was seeing more, or we were seeing more local products and services and community-based projects and like charitable projects, and it had a more local kind of spin to it, where we felt that our product was definitely one that there was a market for across the world. There are people we felt there were people that would buy our product across the world. So we wanted to tap in. And because of that, Kickstarter has a much bigger audience that you can tap into than Crowdfunder does. So if you feel that, well, in our case, we felt that because our product had that global market, we wanted to tap into that huge audience that Kickstarter has browsing the platform every day, just looking for projects to back. So I think it depends a lot on what kind of thing you're doing. Is it more local, or is it, something that there will be people in every country that would buy? Yeah. Okay.
Daniel?
Yeah, I mean, I think Crowdfunder is, Charlie said it pretty well about what it's aimed at, but Crowdfunder is if it's the right for you, then definitely go for it, because it has no fees at the minute due to COVID. And also it has the match funding. So the Mayor of London will match how much you raise. So and at the minute, there's loads of things on there, like trying to save music venues across London, etc. So it's great for things like that. And so if you raise £5,000, you'd get another £5,000 from the government, which is a crazy scheme that not much exists like that. So it's great. But then, yeah, the thing with Kickstarter is if you've got a product, so ours was like people interested in gardening and cooking, etc. If you can get like 20 people in the UK, you can also get 20 people in Australia, 100 people in America. So like if it's something like that, it's great. You can tap into all those people.
Love that. All right. Got quite a few questions coming through as well. I love that. So you guys have been, how are you feeling right now? Because we're going to be moving into the Q&A section. This is the part I wanted so badly for you guys. Because I have so many questions for you, for myself, but I'm probably going to throw out some which I got earlier from some people. But for me personally, looking back at the success that you've had with your own crowdfunding campaign, and something that Steve Jobs said very, very well, you can only connect the dots by looking back. Now, from your position, what would you do differently knowing what you know now if you was going to do the crowdfunding campaign again?
Well, I mean, it obviously seems like a success now. As you say, there's loads of stuff in like hindsight that would be like, oh, it'd have been great to have done that. But like one of the main ones was we used an advertising agency during the campaign to run our ads, but it would have been great to have used them pre-campaign. But because they're taking a risk on your project to that point, the upfront fees are like 4 times the amount. So you're looking at like a £2,000 upfront fee before the campaign rather than the £500 one for during. But like if we'd done that a month before, like the momentum that would have built up before we'd even started would have been great. And also they would have been able to sort of tune who they were targeting with the ads, which would have meant by the time we kicked off, they would have had it completely dialed in, whereas we had to dial it in the first week of the campaign. But luckily the friends and family got us through that point whilst they were sort of ironing out the issues with the but I mean, obviously now that's easy to say because we were successful, but putting up that money up front would have like not sat that well with us because we don't have very much money.
So you got an ad campaign company and they were running all your ads for you.
Yeah.
But they were doing it when only once your campaign went live.
Yeah, Charlie was running our pre-campaign ads.
Okay.
So we were running them ourselves. But
okay, so before Charlie was doing it, once the campaign went live, this ad campaign company started to do it.
And they did a much better job than me, so we would have used them.
Okay.
For all of it. Okay,
so okay, I'm with you now, 100%. All right, and how much did the ad campaign company actually cost you?
So it was they charged $500 up front, and then they charge 15% of whatever pledges that you get from their ads.
Okay.
So they were reasonable. I think that they were quite low fee, and we felt that if we'd gone for one with higher fees, we might have got a more personal, experience but it did work. And the reason why ad agencies are worth looking into for crowdfunding specifically is that they have these audiences built up over time of people who they know love backing crowdfunding projects. So they've got these proprietary audiences that they build up over doing different people's campaigns over time that you simply wouldn't be able to get the same results by targeting the ads yourself based on people's interests that they can get with their built up audiences.
Okay, follow-on question to that then. When we sat down and we had our one-to-ones, so many of them, so many with Charlie. Okay, what were the biggest inputs of us working together during the SEAL program? So better question, how did the SEAL program and working with me really help you with your crowdfunding campaign?
So the single biggest thing was your friends and family strategy. I can't over exaggerate how much that did for us. So shall I quickly go?
Explain it, yeah.
So it's really simple, but basically it's just make a list of 100 people you know who you think would support your project. Let them know before you launch that you've made a list and put them on and say, would you mind supporting my project? And then as soon as you go live, message every single one of them and say, hey, we're live, here's the link, thank you so much for any support. And that, just doing it methodically like that, is just, it meant that we got a really significant amount of, and obviously, yeah, we're lucky and very thankful to everyone we know who supported us, but that methodical way of doing it really meant that we got a significant amount.
How much did you raise during with that crowdfunding campaign?
So we didn't do it the way that you said, to take the money prior.
Okay.
We just messaged people before and said, hey, can we put you on this list? And then once we went live, we said, we're live now. But I know that it was about £5,000 that we got from that.
Fantastic. So
but it's not just the 5,000. It's also that all came in the first couple of days, which, as I said earlier, gives you momentum, which is really important. So we will have got lots more organic pledges from the Kickstarter platform due to that early momentum that our friends and family support gave us.
I like that. So the route you took was to preempt and contact these people beforehand, let them know. Then once you went live, to send them the link to literally to start to donate.
And
I love that.
Actually direct message them.
We were literally sitting there, all three of us, like in the same room, just with a list, just being like, hi, but on like literally the minute we went live. And it worked so well, yeah.
It did work very, very well. All right, so as we need to wrap up, I didn't know we went so quickly. We actually need to kind of wrap up right now. But what would be your golden nuggets that you would share with anyone thinking about doing a reward-based crowdfunding campaign? What would you say to them?
Okay, yeah, okay. I think I'd say definitely rewards crowdfunding is the right choice in so many cases because of that validation. I would say it's going to be a lot of work pre-campaign. You know, spend at least 2 months pre-campaign, and yeah, momentum is key. Just always be thinking about that. Always be thinking about how you can get early pledges in that are going to mean that you're favored by the algorithms on these platforms and get those organic pledges.
Wonderful. Daniel?
Yeah, just to add to that, definitely get your average pledge up. So this can be in any way. So there's the £1 pledge at the bottom. You could offer a pledge that doesn't actually come with your product, but you get a free mug or bag or something. But just anything to get that average pledge up, you should do that. And then the other thing would be that, yeah, as we touched on, just definitely do a video.
Yeah.
Like, it's such an easy win.
Okay, so people say, missed the beginning, but this sounds really insightful. See, people, you guys are loved, Daniel and Charlie. People love your insight. All right, so just to finish off, okay, on this, let me know, how has the SEAL program helped you? Because you didn't quite answer the question earlier.
Yeah.
I would like to really, because this is all about the SEAL program. We would never have met if you didn't register, if you didn't become part of this program. We wouldn't have been able to sit down, and I wouldn't have been able to support you and help you achieve such a wonderful achievement. So how has the SEAL program helped you?
Yeah, so obviously what I just spoke about, that was huge. And I mean huge in terms of the amount of actual cold hard pledges that would have got us. And then the feedback you gave us and general kind of help building a plan and building that mental picture of how the campaign was going to look and how it was going to play out basically was huge. And yeah, your feedback as we went on, this is a good plan, this is a bad plan, this bit good about the video, this bit's bad about the video, was key. And then since after the crowdfunding campaign, you've been letting me know about grant opportunities and about other support opportunities that are available, and that's been massively helpful, and we're hoping to reap lots of rewards from that in the future. So yeah, I can't recommend the SEAL program enough, for sure. And it's free.
It's fully funded. Yes. Daniel, did you want to add anything else?
It was great to get some feedback and get some advice, because you are just out there on your own doing this. You could just put it up and there's so much stuff we'd have just done wrong. and it's like simple yes or no's, a lot of it, that it just helps to have someone with experience just be like, no, don't do that, do this.
Yeah.
And have it sooner. Like, it's just, yeah, it's great.
All right. So, gentlemen, I am literally delighted. It's been a long time coming. This for me has been such an honor to sit down with some fantastic young men who are going to be changing the UK for the positive. Bottle Farm, using recycled bottles to grow herbs and spices in your house. And I think especially through the time that we are in now, COVID, like I'm still waiting for my my bottle to come through. I think January is going to be a good time for it to be coming through, I believe it said. But I can't wait. I'm looking forward to be growing my rosemary and my thyme on my windowsill, probably talking to my plants because I was told that it works. Not that I have no friends or nothing. It's, it's actually, I was told that it actually helps with the growth of the plant. So I can't wait. I've never really done gardening before. So this is going to be the closest thing I'm going to get. And thank you so much for actually bringing this to life and helping a lot of people to really have some fun times through COVID, because I think when people see the little plants grow through such an innovative way that you put together, it's going to be class. So
Thank you,
yeah,
Dean.
no,
Appreciate
thank
it a
you.
lot. We love working with you. Yeah, appreciate it.
See, I was waiting for that, Charlie. You did it right at the end. That's what I was waiting for. Yes, I am pretty amazing. I know.
Yeah, you are.
Daniel, it has been a pleasure having you on today. Charlie,
Yes,
it's always a pleasure talking to you, and your laugh is so infectious. Absolutely love it. Thank you to the British Library for allowing us to have this platform today to be able to share this. So just checking something real quick. One question. Well done, guys. Dean, you are the king of entrepreneurs. I know. Thank you. Who said that? Who said that? Nicola. Yep. Thank you. People just love me. I'm so brilliant. So, guys, once again, thank you so much for joining. It's been a pleasure. Anybody out there who is listening, you're thinking about doing a crowdfunding campaign, please get hold of me at dean.williams@southwark.gov.uk. We have quite a few other programs coming up. We've got Startup Stars on the 24th of November. This is a great event for you to talk about your passion and your profit. There's going to be some great speakers on the day. Other things that if you go to the British Library's website, look at the BL UK SIL. There's so many tools and resources that you can tap into right now if you're a new startup. So as Charlie said, okay, he loves me. I'm amazing. I think Bottle Farm is a great organization. Can people actually go onto, so how can people get hold of you? Let's just leave with that.
Yeah, or if you go to www.bottle-farm.com or just Google Bottle Farm, there's a contact form on there, and you can learn more about the product there as well.
And can they order the products now as well, or have you sold out?
Pre-order it now, yeah. You can pre-order it
now. And everyone will get that for January.
Yeah, and they'll be arriving in January.
Okay, so if you do want to get hold of Bottle Farm and you would like more information, just Google Bottle Farm. They will come up. Put your details into a contact form or contact me, and I'll be more than happy to put you in touch with Charlie, who is fantastic, and the team. So that's it, guys. We are done. You're free now. You're famous. The British Library is gonna post this all over the place. You're gonna go out there. You're gonna have screaming fans. Charlie, I always said you look like someone from a boy band. Anyway, this is gonna be some great stuff. So, British Library, we are done. Thank you.